In a village nestled amidst the rolling green hills of Bethlehem, where the sun cast its gentle rays upon tranquil fields, lived a young man named David. His calloused hands silently told stories of days spent in the hills, shepherding the flock of sheep that roamed the serene landscapes. David, of average stature, possessed eyes that sparkled with a unique light, fueled by unwavering faith in God. His daily journey was a tranquil dance with the sun and the wind, bare feet touching the earth he had known since childhood. At sunrise, David ventured into the hills, his harp in hand, singing melodies of praise and worship. The sound resonated through the hills, echoing between valleys and reaching even the heavens. His skilled fingers danced over the strings, creating a symphony that seemed to echo the very breath of nature. In the silent hours of the afternoon, David would tell stories to his sheep, as if the fields and hills were a vast book to be read to his silent listeners. He shared words of hope and assurance, as if knowing that these animals trusted him not only to shepherd them, but also to guide them through life's vicissitudes. However, the peace of the hills would not last forever. Rumors of a shadow spread across the lands of Israel. The Philistines, led by the formidable Goliath, cast a shadow of fear over the people. David, whose days were marked by serenity, could hardly imagine that his destiny would intertwine with the epic confrontation that was about to unfold. Soon, the hills of Bethlehem, once silent and serene, would bear witness to a shepherd transformed into a hero, facing not only giants of flesh and bone, but also the challenges of destiny. The sun that danced over these hills carried with it the announcement of an extraordinary tale that would unfold in the pages of time. While David reveled in the hills of Bethlehem, news of the escalating tensions between Israel and the Philistines reached his ears. His brothers, soldiers in the Israeli army, witnessed firsthand the relentless challenge of Goliath, the formidable giant who cast his shadow over the lands. The tranquility of the hills was disrupted when Jesse, David's father, summoned him. "David, my son, I need you to take provisions and news to your brothers on the battlefield," said Jesse, with a mix of concern and pride. Accustomed to the gentle melodies of the hills, David set out for the battlefield. As he approached, the vibrations of tension became palpable. The Israeli camp was shrouded in heavy silence, contrasting with the defiant roars of Goliath echoing in the distance. His brothers, Eliab, Abinadabi, and Shimea, received him with mixed feelings. The joy of seeing David was eclipsed by the anguish of imminent war. David, however, remained undeterred. He delivered the provisions and, with harp in hand, sang songs that resonated through the camp, momentarily bringing peace to troubled hearts. The sight of the Israeli army, cornered by Goliath's shadow, stirred something within David. Restlessness began to ferment, and a resolution took hold of him. He inquired of his brothers about the details of the situation, the challenges faced, and the hesitancy that lingered among the ranks. "What if someone could face Goliath?" David questioned, a flame of determination glowing in his eyes. His brothers, initially surprised by the audacity of the young shepherd, shared accounts of fruitless challenges and the hopelessness that pervaded the camp. Moved by a conviction that transcended logic, David volunteered to face Goliath. The news reached the ears of King Saul, who summoned David to his presence. Initially reluctant but curious to see what this young shepherd could do, tension escalated as David's fate became inseparable from the shadow of war. In the hills of Bethlehem, a shepherd was about to transform into a hero, challenging giants and navigating the unpredictable paths that lay ahead. Under the scorching sun, David advanced to the battlefield, where the giant Goliath, in his gleaming armor, awaited like an imposing shadow. Goliath's scornful words echoed, but David, armed with his sling and 5 smooth stones, moved forward with confidence. King Saul observed from the rear, initially hesitant at the seemingly fragile image of David against the giant. Murmurs spread among the soldiers, some doubting the young shepherd. Yet David, in his simplicity, trusted in the strength of the Lord. Goliath, seeing the seemingly fragile opponent, mocked David. "Do you come to me with a sling?" The giant laughed, underestimating the power residing in David's faith. "I come in the name of the Lord of hosts," David replied, steadfast in his confidence. The roar of the sling cut through the air, and the stone found its mark on Goliath's forehead. The giant collapsed, his fall echoing across the battlefield. A momentary silence hung over the lands before being shattered by the jubilant shouts of the Israelites. David's victory over Goliath was a ray of hope amidst the shadow of war. His brothers, once facing the giant's threat with fear, now looked at David with admiration and gratitude. The Israeli army, once cornered, felt a revitalizing wave of confidence. King Saul, now convinced of David's courage, looked at the young shepherd with respect. However, David did not attribute the victory solely to his sling skills. He acknowledged God's hand guiding his steps. News of Goliath's defeat spread like wildfire across the lands of Israel, reaching the people's ears with a mix of disbelief and exultation. David, the shepherd, became a national hero, a symbol of courage and faith echoing through the ages. David's glory lay not only in the defeat of the giant, but in how he chose to honor God, maintaining unwavering faith even in the face of adversity. The hills of Bethlehem, silent witnesses, now echoed with songs of triumph and praise. David, the unlikely hero, did not succumb to earthly glory. He returned to the hills, his harp and the shepherd's routine. But the hills now resonated with stories of courage, faith, and the extraordinary journey of a young shepherd who challenged giants and emerged victorious, guided by the divine hand.